Global tourism took a $1 trillion hit last year. Normally, bustling cities were deserted as lockdowns and travel restrictions kept most people at home. One consequence of that has been pent-up demand for a dream vacation that can make up for last year. And with curfews easing and people venturing out, one sector is looking to cash in. Ludovica Brignola has this report.
As the world emerges from one of the worst crises in the history of tourism and travel, Turkey's yacht industry is experiencing a boom. The country has moved to third place in global rankings, up from fourth last year, and Turkish buyers are at the helm. According to Sirena Marine, one of Turkey's most well-known yacht producers, COVID-19 has greatly contributed to the surge in demand.
It's clear that they can spend their vacations on a totally isolated environment, and also travel restrictions make yachts much more attractive than before. Distance working, home offices started to be popular in the pandemic era, so people start working from distance. During the summertime, they can have their offices in their boats.
The sector is thriving around the world. More than ever before, the wealthy are looking to escape the crowds and the threat of the virus, while still enjoying all the trappings of a five-star holiday. A luxury yacht is the perfect solution. And in Turkey, the sector is riding a particularly positive wave.
In the competition to be the biggest yacht builders, Italy still sits at the top, followed by the Netherlands and Turkey. All three are expanding their fleets this year, but Turkey has seen the biggest growth. It currently has 76 super yachts under construction, up from 65 last year. According to industry watchers, Turkey has seen relatively less disruption from COVID-19, helping it attract more buyers.
The interest from domestic Turkish buyers has also grown in recent months. For Sirena Marine, American customers have represented around 70% of the client base up to last year, with Turkish customers only making up 20%. But COVID-19 has shaken things up. Last year, the percentage of Turkish customers nearly doubled.
I think it's a bit psychological thing. You have some money, and this pandemic era made people think about how long they are going to live. So this is also a hobby for people. So they want to live their hobby as they think that life is short.
But it's not all been plain sailing for the industry. Social distancing requirements have made it impossible to catch up on the months of lost production when shipyards closed last year. Raw materials such as steel, aluminium and plastic have also been soaring, weighing on producers' profits. But Turkey's geographical location, its experienced workforce and profitable business structure may grant it a favourable wind and see it race to the front in the next few years. Ludovica Brignola, Straight Talk.
And joining me now from Muğla, Turkey, is Cem Seven. He is the Managing Director of SANMAR and the Chairman of the Turkish Ship, Yacht and Marine Services Exporters Association. And from London, Stewart Campbell. He is the Editor-in-Chief at Boat International Media. So, gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. Jim, as devastating impacts of COVID-19 pandemic have started to diminish, Turkish yacht industry is experiencing a boom. What kind of a windfall are we talking about here? And where does Turkey stand in global rankings?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, first of all, on behalf of Turkish Ship, Yacht and Services Exporters Association for your kind invitation. Yes, I can say that as all different area of the world, the consumer behavior has been changed. So we have a new normal in our life. Based on that reason, as you may remember, the people are moving their house from the flats, from the apartments to the countryside. They want to own their own garden, etc. So same concept, same behavior is coming for the Turkish yacht industries also. I can confess that Turkish yacht building industry is getting a lot of orders from all around the world because of that reason, because of the pandemic and COVID-19 reason. So I am very optimistic for the future. And when we say the current position of Turkish yacht industry, I just want to give you an example regarding the whole world yacht exporters figures. And there is a market of more or less 16 billion US dollar all around the world.
Yes.
Number one is Netherlands,
Yes.
number two is Italy, etc. And we are getting each year close to 200 million US dollar. I am very optimistic for this year. I hope that we will reach above 300 million US dollar at the end of the 2021.
So, Stewart, just actually Cem mentioned, but how has, in your opinion, COVID-19 contributed to that surge, both in Turkey and around the world? And how was it before the pandemic? And do you believe this trend is sustainable once pandemic is over?
Hi there. First of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. So 2019 was a pretty good year in the super yacht market. 2020, last year started very positively as well. But obviously, as the first wave of COVID struck in March, the super yacht industry basically shut down. And for 3 months, there was very little activity. But then something changed in about June or July 2020. Buyers returned to the market in great strength, and that trend has just continued, with the result that we are now seeing record-breaking super yacht sales across the market. It's often quite hard to put your finger on precisely why this is, but as my other guest said, it's really just a case of people whose holidays were interrupted, traditional spending habits were interrupted. Some of that money that was saved in pursuing other leisure activities has found its way into the yachting sector, and we're now seeing new buyers coming into the market in numbers we have never seen before.
So maybe we can say rich became richer and poor maybe poorer. Cem, how has Turkish industry emerged even stronger from this pandemic, and why there has been a relatively less disruption from the pandemic than other major manufacturers?
Yes, I mean, I have to confess that, like all around in the world, like all of the countries, we have been also affected by negatively from the COVID-19. But what we did is that, the miracle is that I believe in, what we did is that we paid a lot of attention to prevent the COVID-19 to spread into our working area. I mean, most of the shipyards has taken some precaution in order to stop or diminish the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Mm-hmm. What we did is that, for example, just at the beginning, in order to be on time, we took the fever measurement for each worker who is entering into the working area. Besides that, we diminish the workers who is working at the shipyards and the production area. Instead of using single shift, for example, we have divided into the 2, 3. Instead of working with 500 people, we have divided these into the 3 pieces, and 150 people were working in the shipyard area. Furthermore, for example, I mean, we didn't allow the people to go all together to the lunch.
Yes.
And we have divided into the 3, etc., etc. Yes. So with this kind of precaution, we were able to control the spread of the COVID-19.
Okay. So, Stewart, how do you see Turkish industry's performance, for example, in the last decade?
Well, Turkey started the last decade, it's had some very good years in 2012, 2013, and there were a few stuttering years. And the traditional stigma around Turkish super yacht manufacturing particularly was it wasn't... you could build a boat in Turkey for less money than you would pay in other European countries. But I'm really happy to say that the local manufacturers in Turkey have really raised their game, and the quality of the super yachts coming out of Turkey now have risen considerably. And you have some fantastic builders there. Turquoise, for instance, New Marine, Mengiye, Bilgin are all building some really, really special super yachts that are being recognized as genuine quality products. Comparable to other nations' output as well. So it's been great to see. And I think, like one of your statistics on the bottom said, Turkey is now in the top 3 superyacht manufacturing countries globally.
Yeah.
I think there's something like 95 superyachts on order in build in Turkey currently, which is really, really good to see.
So just a quick add up to that, Stuart. What kind of a role do small and medium scale firms play in the global markets? What's their importance? For example, are they likely to replace the bigger ones?
Well, they're hugely important. I mean, the bulk of boat buyers across the market obviously exist in smaller to medium-sized boats, and that part of the market also has experienced a very, very good 12 months. In the US alone, 2020 shattered all records. 415,000 first-time buyers entered the yachting market in the US in 2020, and that trend has accelerated, if anything, in 2021. And that's a story it can be replicated across most advanced economies. People have discovered boating in vast numbers, and they find their way into boating primarily through small and medium manufacturers. So they are experiencing a real boom period as well.
Okay, so Cem, give us an insight on Turkey's side, actually. How do new technologies and innovative products help especially Turkish firms build boats in a more cost-effective and resourceful way? And where does Turkey stand in terms of these new technologies?
Yes, I mean, it's a good question. Thank you very much, because the new technologies are getting more and more on the market. For example, people are not reluctant to use anymore the conventional types of fueling, etc. I believe in that in the future will be for hydrogen, and because in the very near future, the yachts and the ships will be able to get the hydrogen from the seawater, and without getting involved in any fueling activities, they will be able to go thousands of miles and so etc. So both on the yacht side and both on the ship construction side, I can confess that we are receiving a lot of orders, especially from northern part of Europe, for the new technologies, for much more green technologies. We are getting a lot of orders for the batteries type, 100% electrical driven propulsion system. LNG fuel is on the scenario also, but I believe in that the future will be based on the hydrogen rather than on the LNG, etc.
All right, gentlemen, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.